Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Don once again. And hope you enjoyed the puppies. It is an endless battle with them. So we have, 60 people on already. That's awesome. So we'll jump into the first question. Well, actually, I want to tell you, if you haven't found out, the, what's the name of it? Well, good afternoon. Hang on. Keep doing it. All right. Anyway, Shallow Creek Country Club had their first open play today. They had, I'll get it out in a second. They had an invitation play for the last 3 days on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I was fortunate. I got a call and they asked me if I wanted to play. I said, of course. So I played 9 holes. That's what they were letting us play. And it was a very enjoyable course. Lots of water. Lost 4 balls. My first ball hit a house. It teed off on the 7th hole and right smack into a house. But, that's typical for my game. So we'll go ahead and get started. Jerry Harris says, hello, Don. Do you have to pay an impact fee or any other fees when you purchase your new home? I'm just trying to be prepared when buying a new home from a developer. Thank you. So, Jerry, all that's going to be included in your closing costs. You will be paying the impact fee. Here's a secret for you. The developer doesn't pay impact fees. They don't pay taxes. They just roll it into the cost of your house, just like every other business does. Anyway, all those fees are going to be included in your closing cost. It's just a fact of the way the real estate world works. Rich D says, hello. Miko says, Don, what about the drone being shot down this week? Mike, you're going to have to help me on this drone one. I haven't heard about this one. There's been many commercial and recreational drones shot down by people, and the FAA is stepping in and cracking down very hard on it. They consider interfering with the safe operation of a small unmanned aircraft system or a drone, no different than interfering with the operation of a manned aircraft, because there's a potential hazard for people on the ground no matter what. Hey Mushki, how you doing? Good to see you again today. Wow. So, anybody got any questions? We got 90 people on already. Wow, that's awesome. I think the first week we had 90 total. And this is week number 21 of doing this. It should be 22, but I was told I had to take Mother's Day off. And I'm sure you gentlemen out there will understand. Anyway, Walmart delivery drone in Claremont. Guy shot because it was over his house. Wow, that's interesting. So the guy who shot it down deserves to go to jail. He put other people at risk. You do not own the airspace over your home. United States versus Cosby. In 1946, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that you do not own the airspace over your house. That is owned by the federal government or its designated agency. In this case, it's under the control of the Federal Aviation Administration. Victoria wants to know, what is the average dimensions for a new built veranda? For a pool dimensions for a new built veranda. Puppies are adorable. Yes, they are. I got 3 left. I got 3 males left. The rest have gotten homes. A friend of mine is taking, he went to jail, is taking Valiant home. He's a good friend of mine. We worked together for many years. Before I retired, he was my lead technician. My first golden retriever who had puppies, Sadie, he took one of her pups. That was about 15 years ago. and now he's taking one of these, so that's cool. Back to Victoria's question about the average pool dimensions for a new built veranda. So pool dimensions are really going to be based upon the size of the yard and how much space you have, which means, the size of the lot. In the veranda community where I've purchased in Mulberry Creek Verandas North, we have some big backyards, so some good-sized pools can be put in there. My current house, the pool is, I want to say 39 by 16. It's a big pool, and plus there's also a hot tub. But typically, most people stick around 12 by 24 for a pool. I've seen some smaller. A friend of mine, Jeff, great guy, he had a very limited space around his house. I think his pool that he put in, I'll get to that, Melissa. The pool he put in was like 6 by 20. His mother, who was living with him, wanted a pool, so he did it. He had a very limited space, but T&D made it work. Pools are overrated. Okay. So Melissa says, which hole did you hit a house? So it was a shotgun start. We started off on hole number 7. And so it was one of the homes on was it Very Loop? Yeah, Very Loop. Let's see. Pools are overrated. I guess, really, Sharon, that's a matter of personal preference and opinion. I've had a pool in this house for 7 years. My previous house, I had a pool, and I truly enjoyed them. They for me, it was well worth the money. For other people, it's not. It's nice to be able to go in the pool at 5 in the morning when you first get up. You can't do that with a public pool. It's nice to be able to sit and have a glass of wine or a cold beer while you're sitting in the water. So that is some advantages that you have with your own personal pool. It is an expense. There's no doubt about it. It's maintenance, but it is, again, it's a personal preference. Let's see. Brian says, your video on Adler Avenue in Middleton frame construction. What is the vertical siding they're using? I don't know what the siding is that they're using. They have a lot of different options for exterior finishes. So I'm not sure. Let's see. Jerry wants to know, Don, your exterior preference, vinyl or cement, and why? So personally, I like the concrete and stucco. My courtyard villa that I'm sitting in right now is poured concrete. Back then they would put up molds and pour concrete into the mold, so my walls are solid concrete. They also do cinder block or CMU, concrete masonry unit, and now they're doing the precast wall. I like the concrete. I like the look of it better. I also think it's a quieter house with the vinyl. You got to rely on OSB and insulation to stop sound. I hear nothing for sound in my current house, and I live right on Buena Vista Trail, not far from Station 45. And if all the doors and windows are closed, I can't hear the fire trucks go by. In the new house, we've been over there when there was activities going on at the football stadium. Closed the doors and windows, couldn't hear anything. So, let's see. Don, hi. Is irrigation included in the purchase of a new build price? Yes, it is. Irrigation. Every home is equipped with a in-ground sprinkler system and controller that's already programmed when you get there. Alliance Realty in Louisville says it's not just about the pool. The expansion of your outdoor space is priceless. I agree with you 100%. It's a totally different feel when you walk out into, especially with the bird cage, because it feels like, this big giant outside room, and I really like the feel. On our current pool, we went with the domed roof instead of the mansard, which is the hip roof, because with the domed roof, it looked more expansive, and you didn't have the roof coming down into your field of view as much. Again, it's all personal preference. J. Elizabeth said, did you find golfing at Shallow Creek challenging enough? Anytime I pick up my clubs, it's challenging enough. I'm not a good golfer. I have a 2 handicap, this hand and this hand. That's my 2 handicaps that I have. But it wasn't bad. It has a little bit of elevation changes, but they definitely play a lot of water into the course. I think hole number 3 was the only one we really didn't have water to deal with, water or woodlands that encroached. And I know in our foursome on hole number 4, somebody's ball went into the woods, and we never saw it again. I think I lost 4 or 5 balls in 9 holes. So it is what it is. Wow. All right. Let's see. Tamajama says, I'm looking to purchase a courtyard villa in Lake Denham. My only concern is that 470 is right behind the fence. Any clue on what noise level is over there? Hopefully flying down soon. The noise level is going to be, it's going to change from moment to moment. Just depends on what's going by. 470 is a significant roadway in between Lake and Sumter County. So you're going to have some noise. I will tell you that the concrete wall that they put up helps tremendously. We live on the corner of Hillsborough Trail and Buena Vista. We have 2 sides of our house with traffic. We got Hillsborough Trail on one side and Buena Vista on the other, and we have a bunch of trees that are on the other side of the wall, which the district gets to take care of. I don't have to take care of them, but I get to enjoy the view of the trees, and we don't find the noise objectionable. We really don't. If you're gonna have the doors and windows open all the time, you're gonna hear it more. Yes. So Tommy 3 putts. Don, finally caught your weekly show live. Well, good, Tommy. Well, thanks for joining us. Just 3 putts? I 4-putted a few holes yesterday or on Friday. It was, it wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. I think I shot 54 for the first 9. As I said, I'm not a great golfer, but I enjoy it. All right. Anybody else got any questions? Well, I have some that people have sent me. We'll hit those while you guys are thinking of what to ask. So, all right, let's see what happens. Come on. There we go. It says, Don, with all the apartment complexes being built on the periphery of the villages, do you fear the summer crowds in the restaurant squares and other public spaces will closely mimic what is now in the winter congestion? And the proximity to the villages and with its public offerings and lost one. And with that, winter congestion will become untenable. I've seen that one of the sales pitches for these complexes is the proximity to the villages with all its public offerings. with all its public offerings are. Do you know what plans approved by local governments? What do you know with plans approved by local governments with the project populations for these complexes will be in total? We are close to pulling the trigger on a purchase in the villages, but this is a concern. Thanks for the informative videos and your great appreciation. Okay, so Gene, wow, a lot of stuff there. So yes, there are homes being built. Yes, we're going to see an increase in congestion. There's no doubt. They are working on expanding the roads. You have to understand, you can't, the government, the county and the cities can't say, well, we're going to expand this road because they're building this. No, they have to expand. They can only expand the road based on actual conditions. So the congestion has to be there. Whoops. The congestion has to be there before they can build the roads. I know it's painful because then you get to endure a year of construction and the added congestion that brings. Unfortunately, it is what it is. As things expand, we have Eastport, we have Middleton coming out of the ground right now. That's going to draw, for example, some of the congestion out of Brownwood. Many people right now are coming from like the St. Catharines area all the way up to Brownwood. Once Eastport opens, they'll be more drawn towards Eastport. And it continues to grow. But congestion is definitely always going to be an issue. Just because you can't anticipate it, you have to respond to it. I have no idea what the projected population of these complexes will be. Anyway. So Greg R. says, disagree to some extent. In many areas, governments do require developers to do road construction preemptively to support anticipated populations. You're absolutely right. And you see some of that right now happening over in the Twisted Oaks development on 301, where Powell Road and 301 meet. And that is happening, and they are using impact fees for that. They're doing, how do I explain this? The developer there is not paying the impact fees, they are building the road. Okay? So either they could pay the impact fee and then the county build the road, or they build the road and they don't pay the impact fees. So the county has opted for the latter. It all works out the same. It actually works out in the county's best interest, because if the road costs more than the impact fees, that's not the county's problem. That is the developer's problem. They have to eat the cost. So Good to Go says, are you surprised by how slowly new homes in Moultrie and Shady Brook are selling? Of course, the water and golf cart views sell fast, but the rest seem to be just sitting. I'm going to disagree with your assessment that they're going slow. So we are in the slow time of the year. May and June and July are typically very slow months, but they are still moving. And I look at the map just about every day, and it changes every day. There's houses being sold all the time, and there's new houses coming on for the spec homes. Yes, water and golf views, they sell fast. Those are generally custom builds, and the custom builds, you're buying a lot. And the ones that came out last week, oh my gosh, they were, $120,000 to almost $200,000, and they just instantly vanished. So they went very, very quickly. Let's see. Richard says, will the continued expansion of the villages ever end? How far south will they go? I hope it doesn't end, because it is a huge economic driver for Sumter County. When you look at the number of jobs that are involved here, we're talking, I keep on doing that. Sorry, I got a scratch pad here and I touched it with my hand and it switches the view. But, we're talking 12 to 15,000 people directly involved with construction. And that's directly involved. There are going to be back office folks, more suppliers, and then, of course, the secondary construction market, the guys that come do your landscaping, all, you're talking several thousand more people. Man, if they stop, all those people go away. And with them goes their, they're going to leave. They're going to take their families with them. Home values plummet. It's a vicious cycle. How far south will they go? That's anybody's guess. As long as people will sell them land, they're going to probably continue to buy it up and continue to build. Right now we're looking at 20, 25 years. So I would like to think I'm going to be around then. I'll be almost 90. I probably won't be doing this show at that age, but anyway, good for them if they continue it. A good success story is good for everybody. As they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's see. Leanne says, my husband and I are hoping to build on a view site in Wellpoint soon, but just heard from the village sales rep that the view lots will not be available for 90 plus days. Have you heard anything about this? I have not heard anything about it. I was out there yesterday. I think it was yesterday I was out there flying. Yeah, it was yesterday I was out there flying. And things are just absolutely screaming. In the video that came out earlier this week, I flew over Wellpoint and you saw some foundations for some courtyard villas right behind where the Saint-Tropez Rec Center is going. There's houses there now. It's unbelievable. And it's both. I'm assuming that they're either designers or they are veranda homes, as well as courtyard villas, just by the way it's laid out. So it'll be a mixed community. Tommy Three Putts, thank you very much. I'll get to your question in just a second. Elizabeth says, do you think Eastport is going to have a more modern feel? I find some of the other rec centers a bit old-fashioned. Do you? I think, yes, it's going to have a much more modern feel. They say, for example, the hotel is supposed to be mid-century modern. I'm not sure exactly what mid-century modern is. I think of that and I think of, my grandmother's house in the 60s. That's mid-century modern. But old-fashioned, each rec center is different themed. And some of them are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, being a veteran, going to Eisenhower, it's really amazing. I see a lot of things on the wall and the decorations. I walk in, I see there's a mannequin in a Navy Chief's uniform. It's like, I have that one in my closet. I have that same uniform. Hopefully by the first of the year, I'll be able to fit back in it. My diet is going well. But Iselle is golf themed. Each one has a different theme. Some of them are a little over the top. Franklin, for one, for me is just a little too much with the watermelon. But to each his own. Let's see. Why does the Villages use different names for the same floor model home? For example, a lilac frame and a Kingfisher precast and a Hudson veranda, and Starling with 10 feet walls. Well, I think you have figured it out. Yes, it's the same floor plan, but precast is basically it's the same floor plan, but it's a different type of home. And Verandas, yep. It's just, if I tell you that I have a Hillsdale, and you're familiar with the home plans, you know I have a veranda. If I tell you I have a Dove, then I have the exact same floor plan, but it's a designer home. It just depends. James says, do you know what's going in the old Burke's Barbecue location on 466A near Michael Racetrack Road? I was asked this before, and I forgot to check on it again. I apologize. Last I heard, it was some sort of grocery store, but I can't say for sure. Let's see. Tommy Three Putts asks, where does Shady Brook end and Wellpoint begin? It looks like they are now at Marsh Bend. Where next? Across the street next, or Wellpoint, is Sumter County lot map a reliable indicator? It's not a reliable indicator on what's coming next, just what they've been plotting. They get ahead on their plotting. So Shady Brook and Wellpoint, they don't come close to each other. You're probably thinking of Water's Edge. And what I've seen on the layouts is that for now, at least down in Shady Brook, Wellpoint, or you got me saying it, Shady Brook and Water's Edge and Moultrie Creek, they're using these big giant retention ponds as dividers between the villages. The other divider will be the major roads. So, for example, in Wellpoint, it looks like everything north of McNeil will be Wellpoint, and south will be Ocala. Let's see. Can't wait till Corbin Trail, new construction Wellpoint, still in progress, opens for Magnolia Plaza area to Sawgrass area. True connectivity. Let's see. Can't wait till Corbin Trail opens from Magnolia Plaza. Bob, that road is open. It's been for a while. They opened up Corbin Trail and McNeil between the Bexley Bridge and Monarch Grove a couple of weeks ago. Mushki says your podcast is a must for anybody who wants to stay informed. Thank you, Mushki. Jerry says, intend to buy a new home and have the entire yard landscaped with artificial turf. I was informed that there's a monthly base fee in addition to monthly usage fee for water. Is this correct? Yes, it is correct. You probably not going to be able to get away with the artificial turf. There was a big to-do about that at one of the houses up by Lake Sumter Landing at Courtyard Villa. They put in some artificial turf and they ended up having to take it out. So I don't think you're going to be able to do that, Jerry. Jerry Bell asks, what does Eastport have an amenity? I don't think the other squares have any amenities. You're right. Jerry, Eastport is a new design, a new concept. They're always trying something new, and you see that as they go along. For example, when they built Brownwood, they built the stadium seating. Great idea, and it's undercover and it's on the south side, so the evening sun doesn't kill you. It kills the performers on the stage, but you're not getting beat to death. They're just trying something new and combining it all together. It does make for more efficient use of the land. I think it also gives them a greater flexibility. When you look at that waterfront road, you will see that they'll be able to block off the streets feeding it at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and getting ready for the evening events. And now you've got basically from the west end of the hotel all the way up and around to the Dragon Boat docks. an area for entertainment, events, and things like that. So, and that's because you have the shared amenities and commercial district. I think it's a good fit. It's a good match. I can see people, going to play some pickleball and then going for a coffee afterwards. A lot of good things. There's it is just a new concept they're trying. We'll see how it works out. Muskie says, I never want the villages to stop growing. The developer does an awesome job building the amenities first with favorite and new amenities, and then they build the homes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So Tommy says, yeah, I meant Water's Edge. You're right. So we talked about that. Let's see. Sorry, Arc Leda, whatever. On the other than the Olympia Rec Center, with new villages, which new villages will have regional rec centers, and will any include deep water pools like Mulberry Grove and Laurel Manor? I'm not sure what you mean by deep water pools. I've not been to Laurel Manor or Mulberry Grove's pool. So right now there are no other regional rec centers announced. I haven't seen any plans that would indicate a regional recreation center, which honestly is surprising. But I think probably on the area south of Central Parkway, I think pretty soon we'll see something like that. As far as Deepwater Pool, I know that Olympia has a sports pool that's going in. It's hard to say what's coming, honestly. Let's see. Muskie's really pounding on the keyboard today. She says, the congestion is not an issue in each village or neighborhood. Yes, congestion at public grocery stores, restaurants, etc., but it feels so small town in each village. Okay. Muskie says, I walk my 3 dogs down center of the street to get to the walking path so they don't pee or poop in the neighborhood's lawn. So congestion is only at the malls and big box stores, not in the villages. Okay. Let's see. Frank Martin says, Don, there is a house in Ruby Villas that looks burned out. We are new to the villages, January 24, and appears repairs aren't being made. Are you familiar with the details? No, I'm not familiar with the details, but there is a requirement in the deed restrictions to rebuild. So I'm sure they have to, they better get on the stick because there is a time limitation placed on that. There was an issue with another house over in Gilchrist that hadn't been rebuilt, and I don't remember what happened with that. That was about a month or so ago. So many things happen here in this community. I can't keep track of everything, no matter how hard I try. But if you can file a complaint with community standards, that would be a good start, and hopefully you'll get a a response that might be useful. Muskie says, Jerry, you can't use artificial turf in the front of your home. Must be the type. If you have the type of home that's fenced, you can turf the backyard. Okay. I have a courtyard villa, so it's fenced. It has a fenced yard, and I have artificial turf in my backyard. Annette says, hi, Don. Is there any maps showing all courtyard villas? Nothing that's specific to showing courtyard villas. I'm trying to think. Bill Baines, who does the maps that I use, he has a new map that he's put out. I'll try and find the link for that and include it in my next video that's coming out next Sunday. that shows the different units, but villas are named, patio villas are named villas, and courtyard villas are named villas, so it's hard to tell them apart. The easiest way is if you're looking at the areas north of 460 or north of 44. If you look at the lot layout, if they're at an angle, at a 15-degree angle, those are courtyard villas. The courtyard villas are straight load, which personally I don't like. My courtyard villa sits at an angle. It is much more neighborly, I guess is a good word for it. The front load, the ones that are straight load, it feels like you're walking into a cave to get to the front door. And I really don't, I don't like them. But, I've been in this house for 10 years, so I could be biased, yeah. Deep water pools are 5 feet 6 inches deep, great for water aerobics, especially for taller villages. Yes, then I think so you're talking the sports pools. And I know that there's a sports pool going in Eastport. And generally there's a sports pool at every regional rec center. I haven't been to those pools much. In fact, I take that back. I have been to one of the regional rec centers pool to do water aerobics. I prefer the 12-ounce curls when I'm in the pool. But anyway, but yeah, so you're looking for the sports pools, and yes, those are at all the regional rec centers. Okay, so we are all Americans. Hi, Don. What will be the closest village to the lake at Eastport? So that's going to be the south end of LaGrange, and I believe the south end of Oak Hollow, and also Lakeview. Lakeview is on the north side of the Bel Air executive course, and it is the one where they've just built a new entrance to it off of Marsh Bend Trail, just north of the fire station. Let's see. What did I say? Tony Owens says, hi, Don. It's my understanding that modifications are allowed to builds are very limited. Can you elaborate about this regarding your recent build, specifically about changes to cabinetry? So custom builds, they have limited what you can do now. They started doing that about 2 years ago. But if you're talking, so my new build wasn't a new build; it was a veranda home, so it was a spec home. I didn't have any choices in the cabinetry that I did. I used Kitchen-Wise and Closet-Wise. It's the same company to do modifications to my kitchen cabinets. I was very pleased with overall. They had slide outs in all the lower cabinets, lots of drawers. We put the Lazy Susan in the corner cabinet, and in the pantry I had slide outs put in and the regular flat shelves removed. And that was at the request of my bride. She wanted that, and I am a smart enough man to know not to argue with my wife. If you're looking at cabinetry changes, if you're doing a custom build, I don't know what they allow these days. But if you're buying a spec home, which would be patio villas, courtyard villas, verandas, and many of the designer homes, then you're going to have to do that aftermarket. And I would recommend Kitchen-Wise and Closet-Wise. Scott Goodard does a great job. Any future water parks in Wellpoint or infield villages? Dog parks in Wellpoint or Edenfield villages. I haven't seen anything in Wellpoint. Edenfield is not far enough along to be able to even make a guess at this point. Tony Owen says, cabinets to the ceiling, staggered height, changing out the wine rack, removing the microwave above the stove cost. I'd rather be disappointed in advance. So, yeah, again, is there, what they allow is, I don't know. I have not been through the design process. Both homes that I have purchased here in the Villages have been, one was a veranda, and the one I'm in right now is a courtyard villa. Both were pre-done. I will say that you're probably going to be disappointed because they really limit now what you can do for changes. Missy Moe says, hi, Don. Do the Villages have updated maps of the south end you could purchase? Yeah, go by one of the sales office. I believe you can buy them also at the Banner Mercantile in each of the town squares. Also, you can buy them at the Banner Mercantile. You can buy, used to be one map, now I think it's two maps, one for the south end, one for the north end. Yeah, that's what you're stuck with. Jerry Bell says, Tony, verandas are pre-built, no choices to make. Yep, you're right. Jay Elizabeth says, we walk to Middleton a few times a week. There is no street crossing for pedestrians. Do you think they may add one? So you're walking to Middleton. Jay Elizabeth, where are you walking from? Most people take the multimodal paths when they walk. And, you know, there's no street crossings needed because you go under the main roads. But yeah, will they add anything? Probably not. What's there is there generally at this point. Judy Ann says, what do you know about Boosters opening day? Absolutely nothing. You know, I've heard rumors another month. I know that they're working on it. I was there this morning when I was doing some flying, and I was there on Friday, and it was obvious they were working on boosters, but it is not complete. The pro shop is open, which is the other half of the building, and of course the golf course is now open, and it's a very nice golf course. I enjoyed it, even though it did cost me quite a few golf balls. We're All American says, hi again, Don. Do you know what those close to Eastport will become available? When they'll become available? No, I don't. It's going to be a while because LaGrange hasn't started construction yet. What's the other one? Oak Hollow hasn't started construction yet. They got the roads in, but they haven't started building any houses. And even less farther along is Lakeview. They're just now getting the roads going in, so it's going to be a while. New Year's would be not an unreasonable guess. I think what we'll see is right now they're focused on Shady Brook, which is a very large village from what I can tell, and also on Wellpoint. I think after that we'll probably be seeing Water's Edge. And then after that, my Ouija board is broken. So, it takes a while to sell out a village. But they continue to grow and continue to sell. I say, that's only 6 months away. Not too unreasonable. 2 to 3 months to sell out a village is about normal from what I've seen. So, yeah, New Year's, somewhere in that neighborhood probably. All right. Here we go. Jenny says, hi, Don. We are snowbirds, so wondering if there is any progress On the 470 expansion and the area that is being cleared, we heard that work is being done at the entrance, near the entrance of Lake Denham. So, good question, Jenny. I was out there flying this morning, and I have seen the plans. Somebody said that, oh, it's commercial. There's nothing in the plans, nothing in the permits that say it's commercial going in there. Yes, that is going to be a commercial area, but I think what they're doing right now, the only permit that's open is for Phase 3 of County Road 470. And my understanding is Phase 3 is the section of County Road 470 that is on the east side of the turnpike, basically from the turnpike all the way down to Chandler. And I believe that's what they're working on there. In basically the staging area. It's, these things take a lot of time. Sherry says, hi, Don. Are there any new restrictions or current restrictions on Airbnbs in the villages? I wish. I truly wish. I don't mind renters. I have good friends that have been renting here for years. I've made a lot of good friends with people who've come here and rented 2-3 months. They'll rent for the entire season. Great people. But the Airbnb and the short-term rentals really are very annoying. Garbage sits out on the street, 2 or 3 days. I have no use for the Airbnbs and the short-term rentals in the villages. This is not a vacation community. This is our homes. It's funny, 2 years ago I met with the Lake and Sumter Realtors Association, and that was one of their big things. And I basically said, sorry, I don't buy it. I don't care if they want to do a vacation home community, and they're all short-term rentals. That's fine, but they don't belong in residential properties. And because of that, I did not get their endorsement. I don't care. I think it's wrong. It's disruptive to our neighborhoods. I don't have a problem generally with rentals. Somebody's going to come here and rent for a month or two. They generally are much more receptive. It's not a party for 3 days and then they leave. They're here and they're trying to understand the community, trying to fit in, and it's very nice. And you get to meet new people that way. And many of them have gone on to purchase, either in the community they're staying in or elsewhere, and have come back and become friends. I have a friend, what's his name? Jack. I can't remember Jack's last name. He rented in our neighborhood a couple of years ago for like 3 months. Now he's renting up by Lopez, but on our Saturday morning golf group, when he's in town, he shows up, and we're all still very good friends, and it's a great thing. All right. Let's see. Jenny says, do you plan to take any video of this area? Thank you for what you do. Okay, Jenny, now you're going to make me go back. So yes, Jenny, I do. So you're talking about the area on the south side of 470. I shot video of that today. That will be in Sunday's video, next Sunday's video. Jim O says, hey, Don, per Annette's question earlier, you can search for Courtyard Villa homes with the Villages app and select a map that displays the Courtyard homes. Any other model homes using a filter. You're right. I forgot about that. My thought was Annette was looking for a map that shows, these are the Courtyard Villas. And there is not one that I know of. But you're right. If you use the Villages app, you can filter on Courtyard Villas and see what's available. Greg R. says, on the plans for the new 470 area, I saw online that there was mention of right-of-way for drainage easement under 470, which could be a multimodal to connect to Lake Denham. Could that be? So having been a student of the villages and watching how they do things for the last 10 years, and especially the last 6, it is not unheard of that there will be a tunnel connecting the commercial properties that will be on that side with the Lake Denham Dabney area. I see that as a extremely high probability, and it makes sense, because you're going to want to get down through that area to the commercial properties, and you're going to want to have people making it golf cart accessible. Like, golf cart accessibility is a significant bump in clientele here in the villages. It means, between 15 and 20 or 25% more business for the various businesses like restaurants and grocery stores, because people like to take their golf cart, and it's convenient. That's part of the reason why they pay extra rent for the properties, to get that golf cart accessibility. Because it drives revenue, just like being in the town square. That's premium real estate in the town squares. It's amazing. You go in, I remember, it was about 2 years ago, I went to Home Goods at like 8 o'clock at night, and the place was a graveyard. There was a half dozen people working there. I think there was 2 customers in the whole store. Didn't find what I was looking for, so I ran down to Lake Sumter Landing. Now it's like 8:30, and I walked into a couple of the shops there, and there was people everywhere. And that's because the entertainment's there. Maybe he or she gets tired of listening to the band, they go look in the shops. These things drive more business for that golf cart accessibility and location. And I do think that they will connect it with a golf cart path. Right of way or drainage easement. I got to look at. I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Rooster Way, I think is the name of the street. I pulled the plans down from that the day they came out last week, and I was looking for any kind of clues in it about what they were doing in that area, and I could find nothing. And it's really not that big of an area for commercial development. They own 550 acres there, so that's going to be a big area. Wow. Hey, we're coming up on an hour. How time flies. Let's see. So let me switch screens here. Transition. So let's see. Crystal C says, question for you, question for your live video scheduled for today. I'd like to do a rental for a month next March 2025 for the first time visiting villages. My husband only wants to stay for 2 weeks. What would you recommend? Longer stay or shorter? Longer. This is a great place. It's not for everyone. I'll be straight up. The villages is not for everyone, and many people don't like it. And that is their prerogative. Many people do. They talk about drinking the Kool-Aid. All I can say is, pour me another glass. I love living here. But I would stay. If you're thinking about buying a home, plan to stay longer. So it gives you more time to look around, and more time to enjoy what the villages has to offer. On that subject, I do love it here. Many people think because I speak positively about the villages that I somehow am advertising for them or am in their pocket, as they say. I am unafraid of saying when something isn't up to snuff. For example, kayaking in Lake Oklahoma probably is not a great idea. The rock climbing wall will be an interesting feature at the Olympia Recreation Center, but I don't think it's going to get a whole lot of use. And there are a few other things. But, my goal with my videos is to give people factual information and let them make their own decisions. Yes, I try to stay positive. Why? Because I love where I live. But I'm not afraid, again, to say when there's a problem, when there's an issue. That being said, I was a county commissioner for 2 years, and hopefully come November, I'll be back in the office as a county commissioner. What kind of county commissioner would I be if I'm denigrating and belittling the county and the community that I live in? I mean, is that what you want leading your community? Somebody who hates the place? I don't think. To me, that's not the right answer. Let's see. James Dreyer says, speaking of commercial, any news on A, Three Corners at Warm Springs and Megason, and B, the area south of Brownwood at Megason and 44? No and no. I mean, that's not totally correct. For A, the Three Corners at Warm Springs and Megason, there is a rehab hospital that's going to be built there. I believe it's 80 and then 80 beds in phase 1, 30 beds in phase 2. That's the only thing that's been announced there, other than the church on the other side, on the north side of Warm Springs Avenue. I had honestly expected that to start 2 years ago, but they have other plans. Right now, I think they're focusing on trying to fill up Eastport and Middleton. And in today's paper? No, it was earlier this week. I read it. I think it was Tuesday's paper. I read it this morning. I'm a little behind with the puppies. They take a lot of my mornings away from me. They have announced another business going in Middleton, the mustard seed. It's some sort of decorating store. So there's quite a few things that have been announced coming to Middleton, but they have been very hush-hush on what's coming to Eastport. We know that there's the Citizens First Bank, the Village's golf cart store, and the Village's health facility, and the sales office. And, of course, the Olympia Rec Center. But that's all we know. So they've been very tight-lipped. Anyway, let's see. Jimmy Cunningham says, are there plans to build a grocery store in the Eastport area? Dang it, I don't have that map handy on this computer. On my other computer, the one that you see behind me, I've got it. But wait a minute. I might be able to pull it up because I took a picture of it. I'll try and keep talking while I look for it. Where are my pictures? Anyway, I don't know where it's. I'm still new to these Macs, and it's got a lot of positives, but some of the stuff just drives me nuts. And finding things is difficult. But in Eastport, as well as in Middleton, there is 2 pieces of commercial property. Both look to be grocery stores. One of the dead giveaways for a grocery store is when you look at the parking lot. Grocery stores tend to have the angled parking spaces, and the regular part of, or the rest of the parking lots tend to be straight in. I don't know why. Just what it is. I see it over at Winn-Dixie. I see it at Publix. They all have angled parking. But at Winn-Dixie over there in Pinellas, if you go farther away from the grocery store, parking becomes straight in, back like down where the veterinary office used to be, and there's a couple of restaurants at the other end. Jerry wants to know, is there a Whole Foods grocery store in the village? Not that I know of. Let's see. James says, I love when I know as much as Dawn. Okay. All right. Jerry Bell says, how many pups are left? We have 3 male pups left. Right now we have Loki, Justice, and Braveheart. 3 boys. They're 9.5 weeks old. If you're looking for one, give me a call, send me an email, send me a text message. We can definitely hook you up with a puppy. Yes, we still have 6 right now at the house. It looks like 2 will go home tomorrow. 1 will be going home next weekend. We're holding them. The owners are up in the Panhandle someplace. But anyway, he's paid for, so we're good. All right, so we are at 4 o'clock. There is one I'd like to share with one email that I got. Let me bring it up. I will share it with you because this came to me earlier this week. The gentleman had some questions, and I will bring it up. It says, Dawn, I just received notice of the proposed money firing EMS assessment for Sumter County. It looks like this is an issue. It looks like this issue has reared its head again. What is the bottom line on this one? We need our service and we need them paid for. However, it's poor management to be hitting residents with large assessments due to a lack of proper planning by the county. And it's signed Lyle. So this isn't lack of proper planning. So I gave him a pretty lengthy response. I actually tried to be brief, but it turned out much longer than I had anticipated. So here's my response to him. Mr. Crafton, thank you for reaching out to me. I'll try to give you the short version of what's happening and why. Several years ago, there was a huge outcry from residents of both Sumter County and the villages about the long wait time for transport to a hospital when emergency services were called for. This was because the ambulance services were contracted out to a private company, AMR. AMR, being a private and for-profit company, only put the number of ambulances on the road that would enable it to turn a profit based on call volume. This was 6 to 7 ambulances to service the entirety of Sumter County. It didn't take much to utilize all of these ambulances and end up with a 1 to 2 hour wait for ambulances to arrive at your home when needed. This service cost Sumter County nothing. So that was free when AMR was here and doing ambulances. They survived off of the money they got from the insurance companies. And 6 to 7 is what that would support. As a result of the outcry, the Board of County Commissioners appointed a committee to review the issue and make recommendations. After about 4 months, a recommendation was made, and the Board of County Commissioners made the decision to discontinue the service with AMR and bring the ambulance transport services in-house with our 2 fire departments, like the majority of other counties do here in Florida. As a result of this transition, there are now 18 ambulances available to serve Sumter County residents, and response time to get an ambulance on site for transport is now down to 5 to 10 minutes in most cases. This is a substantial and life-saving improvement to the residents of Sumter County. Sumter County Fire Department runs 6 to 7 ambulances out of their stations, and Villages Public Safety runs about a dozen out of their stations, with mutual aid agreements between the 2 departments should either become too encumbered by events and need assistance in handling call volume. The increased staffing and equipment cost and the beneficial decrease in response time all come at a cost that must be paid. The only source of paying for these costs is from residents and businesses that are the recipients of these services. Previously, the lower cost service, which was basically the fire department, not the ambulances, but just the fire department, those service levels were paid for by a $125 a year fire assessment, which covered 20 to 25% of the total cost, plus about a quarter of the property taxes collected from each resident and business in the county. These increases in service levels and differences in service levels between the county and BPSD fire departments mandated a separate funding methodology that removed the county general fund, your ad valorem tax or your property taxes, from the picture. A, to ensure that each recipient paid only for the level of service they were receiving, and B, to ensure that each recipient only paid for one fire service. So that's kind of an important thing. You're only paying for one fire service. Now, I'm talking to this gentleman specifically about Sumter County, but the same holds true for the village's public safety. If you're living in the villages in their fire district, you're only paying for the villages. You're not paying for Sumter County, and vice versa. All right. Some of the increases you see will be offset by a lower property tax assessment in the next year, making the net increase not as severe as they were initially presented. Please keep in mind that you are receiving an increase in service, which comes with an increase in cost. Nothing is free. We've got 18 ambulances on the road. It's a lot of people. This cost to homeowners is this is my opinion now. This cost to the homeowners and businesses is higher than it needs to be. While serving on the Board of County Commissioners, I was very much opposed to implementing the highest level of service due to the higher cost and burden on our residents and businesses. I recommended and pushed for implementation of the lowest level of services presented, which would have maintained the current level of service, and then implementing the higher levels of service as the tax base increased and could be afforded without raising taxes on residents and businesses. The bottom line being Sumter County cannot afford this premium service and needed to stick with the basic service for the time being. Your email attests to this fact. So, that's where I stood on that. It says, in the county's defense, I will tell you that this was neither poor management nor planning on the county's part that has caused this increase. This is the responsibility of the residents who demanded the higher levels of service and the Board of County Commissioners responding to those demands. As I've already said, this could have and should have been a lesser increase, but it has unfortunately become a political football in the county and for the Board of County Commissioners. Sadly, I lost my voice in this matter when the governor had no choice but to reinstate Mr. Miller to his seat on the board. Not surprisingly, during his very first public meeting, he demanded preferential treatment, more spending, and more taxes on our residents and businesses, while at the same time saying that he was for the residents. Which residents he represents is beyond me. My apologies for this being so long. It's a very complicated issue, and even the shortest version of the facts is long. So, this fire issue has been a hot issue for several years. It is what it is. They're moving forward. The Board of County Commissioners is moving forward with the level 3 service. It's several $1 million more a year. And unfortunately, we've all heard the story about you put a frog in a pot of boiling water, or put a frog in a bottle. I'll get it out in a second. A pot of water, and you turn the heat on, and you slowly heat it up. The frog doesn't know it's cooking. Okay? Similar things have happened in Sumter County. as the villages has grown, it has assumed more and more of the tax burden within the county, allowing our property taxes to decrease, and at the same time, funding basically the village's residents are funding much of the county services. The villages represents about 80% of the revenue stream in its property taxes. And, contrary to what many believe in the county is that they're supporting the villages, the numbers and this whole fire assessment thing really proves the point that, the villages has long been supporting the county as it has grown. It's not popular to say that out in Sumter County. I'm not here for popularity. I'm just dealing with the facts. Anyway, let's go back to this screen. All right, so it is 10 after, 11 after. Brian says, hey, hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, my sponsors, please support them. Several of the candidates for the various offices are advertising on this broadcast, as well as Surf to Turf home inspections. Surf to Turf is a new sponsor that I have. If you're buying a house and you want somebody to do that initial inspection, for the warranty department to come in and fix any deficiencies in your home, give them a call. They can do that. They can do your 1 year inspection. They can do an inspection if you're going to buy a house. If you're selling your house, they'll do just about any kind of home inspection and insurance inspection that you need, and at very reasonable prices. Some of the others are candidates, Craig Eastep, Logan Brown. They've approached me, as well as Edna and Jerry Prince. They're running for office, and this guy Don Wiley, elect Don Wiley. So hey. Jerry Bell says, good point. The county should have provided the same level of service and put up to the public, vote for better service. Let the voters decide if they want to pay more or not. It sounds easy, Jerry, but that's not the way things work. And honestly, the level of service needed in Sumter County as opposed to the village is different. It's a different demographic. It's a different kind of community. It's a very rural community, whereas the villages is a much more urban community, so they have different needs. And of course, the older population in the villages also dictates some different needs. For example, there is probably very little need for smoke detector battery changes in Sumter County. But here in the villages, it's a service that Villages Public Safety Department provides. So, there's a cost associated with that. The residents of Sumter County and the villages did speak very clearly to the Board of County Commissioners and to the committee concerning ambulance service, the decisions were made. All right, so it's coming up on 4:15. I have baby back ribs to cook on the grill this evening, which I am looking forward to. I want to thank everybody again for joining me. We'll do this again next week after video number 145 premieres. It will premiere at 3 o'clock and we go live immediately after. I appreciate you all tuning in. Again, if you have questions, put them on the live chat. That's the quickest way. Emails, I try and get to the emails. Obviously, the live chats, the people are here. I'm going to try and prioritize those. But I thank you all for tuning in, and we are going to call it a day. Thanks again.